Hey, 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 welcome back to Drive Time. I am your host, Craig Pastor Jardula, and we do it live, bringing you all the hot takes, headlines, and unfiltered opinions that matter most. Whether you're stuck in traffic, cruising to work, or just chilling at home, we want to hear from you. Today's topics are all about the big stories making waves, but we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your take on everything from the latest political debates to the everyday challenges we face. Remember, whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, we welcome all points of view. So grab that hands-free device, dial us up, and let's dive into the conversation. What's on your mind? It's Drive Time. Call in now. We got to fix that, but we'll get it done. We'll work on it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is Drive Time in the morning. I am your host, of course, with my sidekick. And it's early, so he's sleepy. Ladies and gentlemen, Sleepy Josh is here with us. How you doing, Sleepy?
Good. Good morning, everybody.
God, that really does not sound enthusiastic at all, my man. You got to work on
Hey,
that.
I'm good. I've been awake since 2. I'm rearing to go.
Well, let me help you out. Let me give you more enthusiasm. Remember, nothing great in life happens without enthusiasm, Josh. You have to remember that. And you know, when I was starting this show, I was picturing in my mind, because I do it on WBAI on Wednesdays, and we were talking about getting me some morning slots. So I pictured myself waking up at 6 o'clock every morning to talk to a bunch of New Yorkers. Now I'm talking to everybody, but I'm sure it's not. I don't think people on the West Coast are up yet. It's 5 o'clock in the morning over there. But a lot of people on the East Coast are very enthused, Josh, about the New York Knicks. I don't know if you bet they are. I don't know if you heard.
I bet you Niko would like to talk about this.
Well, let's bring him on in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, and as you know, we're going to do a different co-host every day of the week. And on Tuesdays, we are bringing you one of my favorite people, somebody who helped me out in the very, very beginning. And we're still riding shotgun with each other to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, Niko House is in the house.
What's going on, man? What's going on? And I mean,
good morning.
Don't call him Sleepy Josh for no reason, man. You want him to destroy his brand? You want him to sell out to the machine?
I thought it was a reverse nickname. I thought it's like when you call big guys tiny and, all guys hairy. I thought Sleepy was just,
Also, didn't that one chick get that interview celebrity? Didn't she get famous from not showing any enthusiasm whatsoever, no matter what they say?
Which chick is that?
Girl? A little white girl. She's like famous for like
celebrity Parks and Rec, probably that chick.
Yeah, I think that's
she's deadpan as hell.
Yeah, like and then these rappers and other people try to make her laugh, and she just looks. I'm like, what? And now she's super famous.
Hey, I don't even know who you guys are talking about. I'm trying to pay.
Bro, I gotta fire. I'm gonna fire her name and let you know. But yeah, no, she's famous literally for not being enthusiastic about anything.
Gotcha. There was it Stephen Wright was the comedian back in the days? Who used to, have that just really monotone voice and say, like, I live in a one-way street dead end. That guy. He was really famous for being
Bobby Althoff is her name.
Josh, research that. Get a picture up so the audience can see. Or if they're hearing, if they're listening, they can
what's
hear
her name?
Bobby Althoff. Althoff.
Let me see.
So it's awesome when you see Volvo 2 Love. He might be in from your group. And thank you for bringing some people, because now we got yesterday we started off the show. There was literally 2 people just hanging out in the beginning. And by the end of the show, we had 30-something odd people, which was kind of cool. We had a random person call on in. I had my friend Mikey call in yesterday. I said, Mikey, please help me out calling in. It's the first day of the show. We're kind of just doing some drive.
I'm your first ever guest?
Huh?
I'm your first ever guest?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hell yeah. That's appropriate. Some goddamn respect in this hoe.
Well, you chose the day.
Oh, it's all the
Tuesday.
Well, I mean, I thought you started yesterday. Shit.
We did, but yesterday was no guest because we didn't lock anybody down for a Monday yet. It's kind of crazy because the first 4 people I asked all said yes and were excited and happy, which made me feel great about the whole situation. You were like, hell yeah, broski, let's run it. Karen Kwiatkowski, who will be here tomorrow, was like, oh, absolutely. Kyle Anzalone was excited about it, and then we got Andrew Zigman on a Friday, which I've always had in mind. I wanted to bring him on the WBAI show, so it was kind of put him there. But everybody was excited to come on and take a day, and everything just fit perfectly like a puzzle. Everybody's picked a day, and that day was open. And here we are with you today, Niko, on a Tuesday.
Bro, the perfect day too, man. Right as the Knicks sweep the Cavs. Oh.
For all of you
so
out there
beautiful.
that don't watch
It's so
basketball, the
beautiful.
New York Knicks swept the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they also swept the Philadelphia 76ers before that. And the series, the first opening series, there's 3 rounds to make it to the finals in the NBA. They played the Atlanta Hawks, and I was literally in game
I
2
forgot we
in
played them.
Peru. And when they lost that game by a point, Niko, I almost threw I remember slamming my computer, and I was so disgusted. I was like, this
Bro, you're
team is
such
going
a
to
Knicks
get knocked
fan.
out in the first fucking round. And here we
Nah,
are
I
today.
did not think that. I will admit I never thought that we were gonna get knocked down in the first round. I did not think that. When we only lost by 1 point, you know what my initial thought was? Oh yeah, it's over. Because the Hawks played their asses off for them to only win by 1 point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I think that game Jalen Brunson didn't play that well. So it's like, yeah, if you're counting on Jalen Brunson to underperform every game, yeah, good luck. That's not a good look. And then we proceeded to not lose a game for almost 2 months, right? Yeah.
2 months.
And
But
we have
let
the
the audience
point
know.
differential. Go ahead.
Niko, let the audience know the Knicks haven't won a championship since 1973. So there
I'm
was
gonna let them know
reasons
that wasn't
for
even born
my
yet.
negativity or my, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I
it's
get
not
it.
that. It's
totally
okay.
different
So it's
team.
not that we haven't won that caused the negativity. I feel like we should clarify that. It's the letdown. It's the self-sabotage. It's the we should so during the era of Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Swish, Amari Stoudemire, Tyson Chandler coming off for the Defensive Player of the Year, Pablo Prigioni, like that era, we should have at least gone to the finals.
Yeah.
At least. And we just have like the worst luck where like, it's the supporting cast gets injured and Melo's by himself now. Or Melo gets injured and the supporting cast doesn't know what to do. Or 100% guarantee Amari Stoudemire is he's gonna play the whole season just to get injured right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's the
those
frustrating
particular
thing.
teams, like 99, I was like, they went to the finals. Obviously, Latrell Sprewell, they were 8 seed. It was kind of crazy. It was an amazing playoff run. But I knew when they were running into, Tim Duncan and David Robinson, they were going to get hit hard. They did. They lost 5. The 94 team, which one of the games is like, we interrupt this game right now. I'm like, this is the freaking playoffs. That's the Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley team. They interrupt this show. They interrupt this game to show you OJ Simpson in a Bronco.
In a Bronco.
Like, what y'all doing? OJ, you're fucking my shit up over here.
Bro, you know what's crazy? As a kid, I remember that because it was like a big deal, right? It was like I was like, huh? This is a pretty strange, because I didn't know who OJ Simpson was as a football player at that time because he's long retired. But I do remember people being pissed, like, did you just talk the Knicks getting shows? Oh man, we all catch that motherfucker update us. Oh, excuse me, I forgot we're on the radio. We all catch him update us. Like, go ahead.
Let's talk a little bit about this team, though, because this is a character team, right? Because I know that people, like, in the political field, we understand the term bread and circuses, right?
Yes.
The things they use to distract us. But, I mean, Niko, we've always had, we've had a relationship. Obviously, we've been doing this stuff in this field when it comes to, politics, social issues, that things. And I want to talk about white supremacy today. I want to talk about the Democrats coming back around. I want to talk about the Jewish hate movement within the NBA. There's a lot of things I'd like to talk about we haven't talked about in some time.
Oh, I'm like, hold on, this is a Jewish hate
We used to
movement?
make a joke where Niko used to say, it's always great. Pasta's an amazing guy, and it's always good to have a white guy like him around when the police come because somebody's got to talk to them, right? Like,
yeah, that wasn't a joke.
There was like
that wasn't a joke.
Well, I mean, we would laugh about it and stuff, but there's something real to that, right? Like, and that still exists to this day. So I want to talk a little bit about that because the Democrats are coming back in. I mean, we're kind of like, this is like a whole new thing. I mean, I know we had Donald Trump for a while, but then Biden came back. We have Barack Obama at one point, Bernie Sanders. We've had a little bit of the whole full-fledged Republican iron hand right now. And it's obvious to me. It's clear as day. And this is the reason why I get my shit stolen. Still demonetized on YouTube, by the way, Niko. I reapplied again the day the Knicks lost that game. I reapplied early that morning. It was like 17 times the charms. I'll get it back. Nope. It still won't give us back our monetization stuff. But I think the independent-minded person, the person who doesn't play team sports, who understands what's going on, it's obvious to me it's like the same party. They might act like different parties, funded by the same people, same mission, or their party, right?
Can I give you an example? Right? So there are people who gave me slack because I said, like, I have no problem calling out the fascism that Trump is engaging in by going after Medea Benjamin and Hassan Piker for this trip to Cuba. But I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and iconize and idealize Hassan Piker because you're going to inevitably get just more famous, right? This is how the duopoly functions.
Yes.
They pick a target that is actually already more or less invulnerable, who they know will continue to. They have, like, Hassan Piker has no intentions on supplanting the duopoly, right? They know that. And he's also popular enough to bring enough attention to the issue for Cuba, but they're not creating a separate problem by giving attention to somebody who is less popular than Hassan, who could end up in his position, but genuinely challenge the duopoly. It is a very calculated move. Like, the most that he's going to get, for example, if they find that he or Medea Benjamin violated the sanctions, which they didn't, but the most he'll get is a fine, which he'll easily be able to raise with his massive audience, and he'll go back to Trump, make everybody look at Trump, look away from the Democrats and their role and the nonsense that Trump has been doing over the last 2 years. And it'll be back to business as usual. But the Hero 3 and Chairman O'Malley, for example, they weren't facing fines. They were facing time. And Hassan had zero to say about it.
Yeah.
This wasn't like some small case.
He adds to the divisiveness too, as well, right? He almost kind of presents, and same with Medea Benjamin. This is the problem with that group. They almost present the Cubans as a monolith, that they're all just hardcore revolutionaries wearing Che Guevara shirts.
That's also true.
That's not how it is, Niko. I've been there, and I've talked to young people who said, like, we don't give a fuck about the revolution. We want to eat now. We get it. The older people that, they'll be selling you books, pins, hats. Hey, man, the revolution, they'll talk to you about it all day. It's amazing. And of all the 7 Latin American countries I've been to, the ones that are the people who are most symbiotically connected to us, I feel, are the Cubans. Like, it's like they're on our doorstep. I have such a connection with them.
Well, they also have, I feel like they also, just because they're partially, they're the closest to the United States as far as this culture, this desire to be culturally in sync with us and have everything we've had. And we had so much influence on their culture before we left, right? Because we were basically running the show. Yeah. That's whenever Cuba was at its most successful economically, the United States was running a damn, countrywide speakeasy out of Cuba.
A lot of Italian food there. A lot of Italian.
Is it really?
Oh, God, because the Italians were there with the casinos and the food for so long. I mean, you get like the real carbonara there. Like, I've been to so many places. There's a lot of Italian influence over there. I went to the Buena Vista Social Club, Italian food. So,
Yeah, so I think that's part of the reason, right? Because they see.
Hey, we got a caller.
We got a caller. Go ahead.
We do. We got a caller already. Holy cow.
Riley's back.
What's that?
Riley's back. Bill Riley from yesterday.
Oh, my God, Bill, I can count on you. Not Bill. This is not Bill O'Reilly. And, guys, if you want to pick up the phone and give us a call. Hold on one second, Bill. We'll get you. This is Bill Riley, not Bill O'Reilly. But if you guys want to pick up the phone and give us a call, this is a call-in show. 561-221-2125. It is 561-221-2125. We got our caller. He's calling from Ossining. Bill Riley, what you got for us today, Bill? You're here with me and Niko.
No, Somers now. I grew up in Ossining.
Where you at now?
Somers, New York, northern Westchester.
Still a Yankees fan. How about them Knicks?
I don't watch basketball anymore. I was going to tell you, I was watching streams yesterday of Wilt Chamberlain on YouTube. Oh, my God. He's still the GOAT.
What? Yeah, until he sees Bill Russell on the other end of the court.
No. Chamberlain, no. He didn't have the players around. Him, man. Come on. Until Weston.
But one would make an argument that the whole reason that Bill Russell was able to make the transition to being the player coach is because he made all the players better.
Yeah, like Jordan did too. But Chamberlain didn't have the guys around him until Weston Goodrich.
Yeah. I mean, did Lou Alcindor win a title, Niko, in Milwaukee?
Yes, he did.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
He won
Yeah, he
one in
won with
Milwaukee?
bro. He won with the goat. He won with the goat triple double. Well, second now he's second. Big O.
Remember, they didn't have block shot stats before, and when they went over old videos of Chamberlain, they said he would have averaged 8.8 block shots a game.
Yeah, it was
That's
insane.
crazy.
Wilt was an insane. Him and Bill Russell actually, like they were athletes outside of basketball. Like both of them were like all American high jumpers.
He did like Chamberlain did like a 4.540. He did the 4.40 in 48 seconds. He was a monster.
Yeah, 4.540 is actually insane for somebody who's what 7'3", 7'4".
Yeah,
What
because
was it?
Hank Stram, the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, said he would have been the greatest wide receiver ever. He saw him working out. He said he's ridiculous. He was so fast, so big, you couldn't have stopped him.
Wilt would have been a freak of nature even today. Actually, you know what I'm saying?
He's the greatest athlete ever. They had
he wouldn't have got a ring.
Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger is the strongest guy he's ever met.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was lifting weights that other guys couldn't even do. He was doing reps that were ridiculous.
Good.
Remember,
but to put up 100 points,
he put up 100 points in a game.
So guys have to understand, like putting up 100 points. I don't give a damn if you're doing it at practice. That is extremely difficult to do. Like there are people
rebounds.
Yeah. Well, 55 rebounds. All he had to do is hold up his hand.
Yeah, come on. He averaged 27 in the season. A monster.
Look, listen. It's hard to put up those points. It's hard to put up those points.
On YouTube, and man, him defensively. Oh my God.
It's hard to put up those points, and Bam Adebayo put up like 80 points in a game or something this year, right? And I was watching some of it. 40 of them came from the free throw line, and it was just like, man, this is like, I don't know. I don't want to downplay it. That's a hard thing to do, but it just didn't seem.
But even still, bro, you got to hit the free throws for a big to hit those free throws. You got to hit the free throws. You got to get to the line. Like, it's still difficult. Like, we can't discount Wilt's because of his competition at the time, so I don't think it's fair to necessarily discount Bam's. Yeah. Now, I will say, the person who got, for me, is still Kobe's 81. Like, because Kobe had to come back from, like, he was playing to win the game. People forget he was losing that game.
Yeah.
And he got 81 by just crushing them. Like, they knew he was getting the ball every time. They couldn't do everything, and he still was able to leave the game early by the time it was all said and done.
Let me say this, and because I don't want to stick on sports.
Nickel.
Hold on a second, Bill. I don't want to, because I know you called to speak about something. Bill used to see me on.
I have Judge Knapp on the other screen.
What's that?
I have Judge Knapp on the other screen with Alistair Cook.
That's what I'm talking about. You got something to talk about. So hold on a second.
Promoted you too on there.
I will say this much, just in closing, that what was really the most amazing thing I saw this playoffs run in basketball in quite some time was Jalen Brunson bringing the Knicks back in Game 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was Jordan-esque. Like, I haven't seen anything like that. Like Michael Jordan, like, he's going to get the ball. You know he's going to shoot it, but you can't stop him. That was...
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
That was amazing. But, Bill, I know we were talking a little bit about Cuba. I was going to get into the Empire. I want to talk a little bit about white supremacy today. I want to talk about the way the NBA is playing this kind of Jewish hate thing.
I'm promoting you on right now live on Judge Knapp.
That's awesome. What do you want to talk about? I know you got something on your mind.
Oh, no, I'll keep it quick. Karen's going to be on Friday, right?
Karen's going to be on tomorrow. She does Wednesdays.
Tomorrow.
Wednesday. You can see Niko's beautiful face every Tuesday. You can see Karen's beautiful face every Wednesday. You can see Kyle. You can smell Kyle Lanzalone's tomato sauce on Thursdays, and Andrew Zigman, an Assange activist, will be here on Fridays. So that's
Friday. On Friday, Judge Knapp has Karen Kwiatkowski on. Oh no, today at 3:00. I'm sorry.
She does Tuesdays. Yeah.
No, she's on Judge Knapp today at 3.
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
Yeah, well, she's on Judge Knapp today at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, today's he says she does Tuesdays.
That's Bill Riley for you. Bill, did you get your donut?
Yeah, I already had my Entenmann's, yeah.
Yeah, Entenmann's. It's not even pastry, it's Entenmann's.
I want you to know I'm promoting you on Judge Knapp, and I'll promote you later on Due Dissidence.
Thank you.
Dope,
and also continue to promote Entenmann's if you can. Don't promote Sanka, though. I don't want to promote Sanka. Bill knows Sanka. Bill, you got anything to talk about?
No. Let me get back to Judge Knapp. But I will promote you later on Due Dissidence. They're on at 1.
Oh man, thank you. We're gonna send you out a toaster since you're the winner of the day.
All right, thanks, man.
Bill, thank you so much. Calling anytime.
Hold up. Do people still use toasters? I've been in Brazil for so long that do people still use toasters? I'm not. That's not a rhetorical question.
We got toaster ovens.
I thought toaster ovens were older.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Hey.
I gotta dig out my Free Palestine shirt.
Free Palestine and reparations immediately.
Reparations. We could talk about reparations.
And I'm one of the people. I'm in the camp, probably considered an extremist. I'm in the camp that Americans should actually have a percentage of their salary taken out.
Americans.
Yeah, because we allow the genocide to continue.
A dingo ate me baby. He's there. Black in the Empire. Daryl. Fucking love you, man. Call in, Daryl. That'd be great.
Call in, y'all.
Running into Daryl in some events, right? It's great to see him.
Oh, really? Dope.
All right, let's talk about reparations
for Palestinians.
No. Are we talking about reparations for Palestinians or Black Americans?
I brought up reparations for Palestinians because I feel like Americans. Yeah, because I know people always say free Palestine, but I feel like we owe reparations to Palestinians because first of all, the Israeli state wouldn't exist without our money. Right. And in my opinion, because the United States, the people of the United States have been in a coma, they've been propagandized and have allowed them to run rickshaw all over Palestine, Gaza and the West Bank. Hell, I mean, there are a lot of people who moved to Jordan. This isn't really discussed a lot, but like people's families that were forced out of Palestine, they moved to Jordan. And that's why Jordan is 93% Palestinian. It's just that it doesn't really ever get discussed. Because people only think about the Palestinians who didn't really they didn't make it out. Yeah. But like, imagine having to leave your home, right, to go to this other place and live under this fake false king, and and you knew that state, Israel, couldn't survive without this particular country's money, and all they had to do was stand up and say, we're not going to accept it. And basically, no one started doing that to the degree that we have until recently. And so I feel like in order for Americans to learn their lessons, we gotta have consequences, right? We do. I feel like that's a big part of the what do they call it? Reparation of the reparative process, basically, because and the karmic process, like, because karma's gonna come and get us if we don't get out ahead of it. That's how I feel.
Well, let me retort to that. Let me push back. And somebody was asking, how do I call in? The number's 561-221-2125, 561-221-2125. I get what you're saying, Niko, right? Like, and I'm very frustrated with people out there right nowadays. I mean, there's a couple friends of mine, and I don't do this. I've always kind of provided that avenue where we talk to people who are different than us. I would encourage people, and it's even in my closing monologue of the show, but I would always go speak with a lot of Republicans. A lot of the events I was doing as an election integrity activist, which once again, that Niko inspired me to do that a long time ago with his work on the Bernie Sanders case. He made a madman out of me. Look what you did. But I was doing events where I was speaking with Trumpers because we were talking about fair elections. So about building bridges, I'm there, right? You know what I'm saying? However, when it comes to, when I'm saying I'm frustrated with all those people across the board, especially even a lot of conservatives nowadays. I got some comedian friends. I'm not going to mention their names. I'm not like this. I'm like losing my fucking patience with talking them. The justification of what we did in Iran day one. Is that a call coming through?
Is that another call?
It is.
All right, hey, get the call and hold.
You're on the air.
Just let them hold on. But let me just say this much: are the people really responsible for what's going on in Gaza today, and what's going on in Iran today, when they've been propagandized? And they've been programmed. Such a little kid, because I remember social studies as a kid, and we are taught something completely different than what we're seeing. And for a long time, I thought what I saw was just the havoc in the world. And here we come, the white man, Captain American style, coming to spread truth and justice and human rights all over the place. Keep that in mind. Let's listen to the caller, where he's calling from, who he is, where he's from, and maybe we can get a conversation. We're here with Niko House. This is Drive Time in the Mornings. Who are we speaking with? Did we lose him?
Yeah, we lost him.
What was the number? Do you have it?
I can call him back.
Call him back. We got Bill Riley's number and stuff. But Niko, why don't you answer that? Your thoughts?
All right, it's ringing.
Let's see. We
Good
call
morning.
people.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Who
morning.
is
Hello,
this? Where you
gentlemen.
calling from?
I'm calling from New York City. I'm calling from New
Hey.
York City, the Bronx.
Who is it?
Hey, Boogie Down. What's good?
This is Charles Messina.
Charles Messina. How you doing, buddy?
Seems like there's a delay.
It's gonna
Is
be a
there a
little bit.
delay?
There's a
Probably a
delay.
little bit.
I think you got to turn down. What you got to do is you got to turn. Unfortunately, got to turn down your computer and just listen on the phone.
Oh,
There's going to be a delay that way.
How's
You
that?
can hear us through the phone.
that
Though.
better?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can hear you fine. Yeah.
All right. So the point I'm trying to bring out is this: we got to start from scratch. Manifest destiny. We got to start from how these people came over here and came over here as a meteorite and landed on Plymouth Rock and exploded. And then they took the Bible because they were outcast. So this whole thing started from the very beginning as a settled state. So if we can't get to the rock bottom and get on the train with Professor Horn and others that break down this early history, how Florida, okay, was considered like a thorn in the side of these Protestant people, and this Anglo-Judaic, okay, civilization that pumped up, and 17 years of no wars, 17 years of no wars out of 250 going on. If you do the math, what's up? I mean, now it's spread from across from the east all the way to the west. California tried to take over up in Canada. The slaves rebelled, became Royal Marines, burnt down the whole damn White House because they knew every back alley, like we do in the Bronx, every way to get to these people without them even seeing us creeping them, burnt down the White House, and were free to this day. So what I'm saying is, if we don't get down to the reality of what's going on and how this thing expanded, now all the way over to a people that are not even Arab, that are actually real white boys. I'm talking about Aryans, you know what I'm saying, where Hitler tried to hijack.
Talking
all
about
this
the
information.
Ashkenazis. You talking about creating a fancy description like Ashkenazi doesn't make them sound more Arabic?
No. All I'm trying to say is that the civilization that was built here was built on a crazy ideological understanding, and it's all about supremacy. And the minorities of the world that are not down with this Anglo-Concoin Judaic civilization, they only can be crushed by violence. They can't be, they don't want to come to the table because, you see, it's either, you got to pick a side. There's no, I see this neutrality thing. You can't be neutral, okay? You guys, the gentleman Niko, he was in the military. You can't sit on the fence because you're going to get shot at both sides. You got to pick a side.
That's true.
So I'm finished with that. All I'm saying is the roots. All
right.
Let me say,
Charles. Go ahead, Niko. Put Niko on the big screen so he can answer and talk, and then I'll jump in there because I got something for both of y'all. We're talking to Charles Messina from the Boogie Down Bronx. This is Drive Time in the Morning. Go ahead, Niko. You go ahead and tackle this.
So first of all, Charles, congratulations for being in New York as the Knicks are about to go to the finals. First and foremost.
Dude,
Second
these
of all,
layouts are jacked.
I 100% agree with you. We do have to get to the foundation of how we got here, because I always whenever I'm talking to my 8-year-old, right? I'm like, okay, you crying now because you're in trouble and you're about to be grounded, but how did we get here? What are you crying for? Where did this discussion come from? Because it didn't just come out of thin air. So once you figure out why, then we can get to the how we ended up here. So in the case of, for example, the United States, you're right. Them bringing flawed religion, malintentions, their supremacist mindset, because you could even make an argument that every country had a supremacist mindset to some degree. And I think what happened in the United States was interesting because the rest of the world, to a large degree, didn't have time to prepare, right? I don't think that anyone saw the United States becoming what it became because, like you said, it was a bunch of rejects. It was a bunch of rejects not nobodies, but definitely rejects. And I feel like our government is kind of feels like that now. Like it's a bunch of rejects who fell on top of gold. And they're like, okay, let's conquer more. Okay, let's conquer more. Okay, let's conquer more. The only way we can have more is if we conquer. And if the United States was built on not even necessarily altruistic principles, just building on true self-interest, like that involves the entirety of the country instead of just a few elites, like the United States would be the most powerful country in the world, and it would be almost impossible to stop them. And like they wouldn't have to go to war with anybody.
Understand one thing, Niko. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I don't know.
Go ahead, say.
I'm just we gotta. Yeah, you go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
No, what I was trying to say is that the bottom line is these people came over and created a whole. They read Paradise Lost. These founding fathers had Milton. Milton signed off on chopping off King Charles's head. These people, use this ideology. Cromwell, these Anglos, and these Jews, have created a mythology with no actual civilization. The civilization was wiped out. The Indians.
That was where?
For thousands of years. They created this thing 250 years with no type of substance, no type of foundation. The foundation was slaughter the indigenous. They named them Amalek. This goes back, and they're trying the same thing today. This is 2.0 Amalek style. They haven't changed
so to be honest with you,
it's so simple to see.
And what did these countries? Hold on, Charles.
And expanding, Charles. And it's this ideology. That's all I'm saying. Charles, it's got to be crushed. It's
the unfortunate reality is that these countries, this isn't anything new. The pattern isn't new. It didn't start in the United States, unfortunately. In fact, I would say that they were just merely exporting a pattern of imperialism that they had already seen working and already worked. For example, Spain was like the #1 empire for a long time, and England was so desperate to get to the United States because that was the only way they felt that they could keep up with Spain. So it's not like they were implementing a new ideology. They were just transferring and importing what they had already learned from the European nations. But my point is that it's important for us to remember, because there are a lot of people that, I understand your point, but there are a lot of people that say overall the United States, the citizens of the United States benefited from it, so I'm fine with it. Or they don't care because they feel like this was necessary for us to have what we have as a nation. But the reality is, if the United States just invested in itself and reinvested in itself and reinvested in itself instead of looking to crush other nations, we would actually be in a better position today than we are in 2026. And I don't have to guess. I'm looking at China, and it's they started from behind and they passed us.
Yeah. Well, empire is also very expensive too, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is
empire is.
The reason why the Soviet Union folded up wasn't so much because things were so bad. It was the fact that it was just really, it's expensive to maintain an empire. So they were like,
well, that's like I'll say for the Soviet Union, that's like a mixed bag, because they folded up not because it was expensive, but because there was like a blatant attempt to sabotage them. That's a whole different, like the intelligentsia.
Hillary Clinton are so mad at the Russians, and the Democrats are just kind of anti-Russian. We don't have one single congressional member that's pushing back against the war in Ukraine, Russia. They are all for it, including Barbara Lee, who's the only one to sign the AUMF. But that's because Hillary Clinton,
hold up, Thomas Madison's not against the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, no, not one single Democrat, not one single.
Oh, Democrat. Oh,
well, the Republicans that are like now anti-Ukraine war, or because they can put it on Biden, and it's Biden's war, right? And the ones that really make the decisions, Donald Trump said he'd end it in 24 hours. It's not gone. But here's my question to you, and here's my question to you and Charles. So what it seems to me, what I'm hearing from you is that you're saying is that we need to recognize the roots of why we have this issue. And correct me if I'm wrong, there's this kind of like white supremacist mindset there, right? That's there, that they use to dupe the people. What I'm trying to say is that aren't our problems, and I'm not trying to downplay any type of racial issues we have. I mean, what I saw in Minnesota was disgusting, especially towards immigrants, and seeing the people stand up, right? Saw a lot of white people standing up for the immigrants over there, was really happy about that. But aren't our problems that we have a ruling class that has manipulated these people out there, including a lot of white people out there? Because most white people in America are poor. So isn't our issue more about globalism and elites trying to control everything from the ground up? And they just use race as a weapon. They weaponize it. Don't we have a different problem today than we did when this first thing started off, Charles?
The point I'm trying to bring out is everything that we said basically is 100% correct. And we all agree on the common denominator that there is oppression and there is the oppressed. What I'm saying is the bottom line is this, is that the line has been drawn and it got to the point where these imperialists got choked off. In other words, Iran actually did perform the miracle. Like John Mersheimer says he's a realist, but he doesn't believe in miracles. I said that by Iran grabbing Trump by the throat, because that's exactly what's going on right now, because you can't open up that body of water that's choking off this world, and grabbed imperialism by the throat and dangled him in front of the world, and all these other countries are saying, this is what we went up against, we planned for to deal with 30 years down the line because we knew it was coming. And this system of the elites and their imperialist ways is not lasting. And those that are 35 and under realize that is the problem of these. And you look who they are, these actors. And I call them lifetime actors. They are basically Anglos. Listen, you got to be Protestant to be a president in America. Okay? They cut.
You got to be a Protestant to be a what?
You got to be a Protestant to be president president in America. Okay? And you can't be a Catholic. Okay? And you can't be a Muslim. You got to be a white Protestant.
That's not true because Trump said he's the first Jewish president. That's what he said.
Yeah, but he's a Jew from birth. I mean, his grandfather, okay, ran from being drafted in World War I, made a fortune over here, went back, okay, to Germany. They kicked him out, said he was a draft dodger, so it runs in his blood. We know he's a cold coward from his great grandfather. And his father, Rabbi, was a Jew. Okay, so we know he's a Jew.
Oh, that's it. Oh, well, then technically speaking, he's not a Jew. You would have to be a converted Jew.
He's been running in those circles since I can remember. I'm 71, a union iron worker. I'm a union iron worker.
71? Boy, you don't sound like you don't sound like you're 71.
I'm 71. I'm 71, a union iron worker. I worked on Trump's jobs. He stiffed guys like me out of a paycheck. I'm telling you, stiff dudes like me that walk iron. Okay,
I believe it, man. Trump the kind of guy that wear fake gold and pretend like he rich, right? He wear fake change and stiff people. Yeah,
can I take something? There's really, to tell you the truth, when it comes down to everything, there's no such thing as a Jewish person, a Catholic person, a Muslim person, whatnot. I mean, there is for the elites, but the elites, they don't really conform to anything. They might pretend like they're Jewish or whatnot.
I have to disagree.
They are the oppressors. That's the big thing. They want
100.
everything. They want to commodify every single part of Mother Nature, right? And at the end of the day, what we're seeing, what's going on is with this whole Dan Bilzerian thing, this Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, when we're talking about the conflation of Jews and Zionists, and that's going on. At the end of the day, the Jewish elite, the Jewish supremacists, they're never going to pay the price. They didn't pay the price in World War II. It was everyday Jews. They don't care about the Jews that paid.
Right, I know, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Zionists literally they're arguably responsible for starting World War II, right? And largely because of what they did in World War I, but then helping uplift Hitler and in World War II, and then they just ran. They made a deal with Hitler and ran to safety, while everyday Jews, like you and not like you and I, because we're not Jewish, but just everyday people paid the price.
Paid the price.
Yeah, but I will say the elites. The elites, I have to rebut that, because the elites, for whatever reason, they do ascribe to whatever it is, Zionist. I don't know if you want to call it a religion. I would consider it more like a cult, right? They do ascribe to that. They do separate themselves from us in that, and like all elites are not. I used to think that all elites were created the same. Then after traveling and speaking to different people, and then like, for example, being in Brazil, you start to see, hold up, like, why are there a bunch of Israeli symbols and flags at these big stores and these development companies? And then I find out, oh yeah, an Israeli owns that. Or a Jewish person who, like, they're Brazilian Jewish, but they have dual citizenship in Israel, for example. Like things like that. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know that Israel got their grubby hands on Brazil too. Yep. You know, it's happening in Philippines right now as well. Right. So I do gotta say that there is something different when we're getting to this conversation of Zionism, which is why I feel like it's such a hot topic. And it's so controversial, because if you would say something like that about any other group, like, hey man, you know, we're all the same, elites are elites and everybody else is everybody else. But Zion, like, think about it, Christians, when they're Zionists, they want to make sure that everyone knows they are Christian Zionists. And even elite Christians that don't align with Zionism, when they want to make sure that you understand, no, I'm not a Zionist. They make it known, like, I'm not a Christian Zionist. You get what I'm saying? So that distinguisher is something that we can't really just leave off like and pretend like it doesn't mean anything, because to the elites, it signifies something. And there's a reason that there's so many that ascribe to it in order for them to maintain their
Niko,
status.
let me tell you something, Niko. You are some beautiful people. I just want to end on this. You're some beautiful people, okay? And I'm going to end on this. I did time in Sing Sing, New York, and you are beautiful people. I did time in Sing Sing, New York. The caller before was from Ossining, okay? So back in 1979, we got books from the Iranian Revolution, and the guards gave it to us like it was gibberish. Meanwhile, we would become warrior saints, okay, warrior scholars, okay, turning the whole flip Greenhaven around, Sing Sing around, okay, the Islam was there inside the penitentiary, pushing up on the warden. We had a personal seat up in the warden's office, finding out what's going on in the population. Damn. I was there with the killers, alleged killers of Malcolm X, broke bread with them brothers. I've been in this struggle since down in 1978, back in the penitentiary, and I'm not playing with these people. And if these people try to, I'm a Vietnam veteran on top of that, okay, like you, Niko, okay? So
I'm not a Vietnam veteran, but yeah.
It wound up behind bars, and the same bars that imprisoned me, I became an iron worker and became a rebar worker and bent them. So I will bend them, okay, and they will submit to the will, and I'm a Shia Muslim on top of that. So I just want to let you know all that. This is where I'm coming from. So revolution and revolt has been in my blood. When my father took me to the Catholic Church, and I told my father, what the hell is that priest talking about? He's talking in Latin, Dad. What the hell is he? And you were in Korea. You was on the picket line when there was really a picket line in Korea, and he looked at me and said, let's go get our shoes shined. I never went back to church.
Charles Messina from the Boogie Down Bronx. Thank you so much. Be a regular caller. Call in at any time. We appreciate your call.
Peace out. Peace out, baby.
Love you.
Peace.
Love you. Next time you call, say assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. To both of y'all beautiful people. Keep up the work.
Appreciate you, Charles. Appreciate
you, Charles.
That's crazy, bro. Vietnam War, penitentiary. That boy, that's a New Yorker, boy. He's straight from the concrete. What?
You know, we started the show. This is the internet radio show, but we're still fielding calls from New York. I think I got a little WBAI kind of leftovers dripping on over to help us out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's where Bill heard me. He heard me on Drive Time on Wednesdays on WBAI.
That's great. What a day! What a day! It's Nick's day, so you know.
Nick's day. Let me say this much though, because I want to make sure that people understand this. You said something that really kind of perked my ears, and I think it's going on today, right? Which we kind of sometimes we have a group of people right now, and there's on the right, there's on the left too as well, that want to blame everything on Israel, the Zionists, the Greater Israel Project. I don't look at it, and I don't see it that way. And I put up a comment from a dingo ate me baby, right? Which I think it said right here. The elites practice the old religion, which includes worshiping Baal. I think that is more accurate to what's going on. Whether it be we are doing everything for the Greater Israel Project with our foreign policy, it doesn't matter. They have accomplices. They have people walking hand in hand that are not Zionists. They are Western elites. And I think, how much does it cost to crack a Coke or a Pepsi Cola in Iraq? A lot of money. that's being built.
Does
There's
it?
a lot of money being made from people who aren't just Zionists when it comes to war. Smedley Butler, war is a racket. There are accomplices. They are walking hand in hand. And I think they are happy that everything is being blamed on Israel because they're going to get away scot-free.
But
They're almost making America look like they're a victim being held hostage, Niko.
But at any great heist, there are levels to the leadership. There's somebody who's in charge of the heist, and there are accomplices. But in any great heist, there's somebody who's running the show. There's somebody who planned the heist. And if there might be a grunt or two, some low-level guy that makes a small percentage off it, that does not make him the same level of a threat as the mob boss himself, right? So I think that's what a lot of people are referring to. I don't ascribe to this idea like the Dan Bilzerian is, it's a Jewish supremacy. Of course, Zionists who happen to be Jewish believe in their supremacy, but okay, so here's why you can't call it Jewish supremacy. And I feel like we should be very clear about this. You can't call it Jewish supremacy when you're literally sterilizing African Jews because they're not white. That's not Jewish supremacy. Like that automatically kills your argument. When you treat, like, people don't like to discuss the racism issue in Israel, but it's huge. It is I dated an Israeli, y'all know this, and beautiful but crazy. And one of the things that she lamented was her experiences as a child. And one of the reasons she was so ready to move out of Israel, she moved back eventually, but the moment she turned like 17 or 18, she ran like the Dickens. She first went to Mexico, then she went to the United States because of how she was treated as a kid for being of she's of Libyan and Iranian descent. That's like her both one of her parents, her grandparents still spoke only Farsi. So like that's how she was drop dead gorgeous, but Israelis, especially at that time, they only really felt like Russian Israelis or Eastern European Israelis were attractive. So like it might seem like there's a Jewish supremacy thing because okay, we might see what's the CEO of BlackRock, what's his name?
Larry Fink.
There you go. Larry Finks of the world. You know what I'm saying? The Mark Zuckerbergs, every Jewish person that we see that becomes a super billionaire and has control over various forms of media and mediums of communication. Yeah, they're white and they happen to be Jewish. But once again, look at who's not being included at the table. So that makes it not a Jewish supremacy thing. Zionism is a very specific ideology, and that ideology excludes anyone who does not look like them. So like you have to worship that religion, if you will, quote unquote, that isn't necessarily Judaism. You know, they talk about the old ways, the old religion, and you have to look like them. So we have to stop generalizing because there are a lot of other Jewish people that are not just white and European. And they're just like there are a lot of other Muslims that are not just Arabic. It's important that we put that conversation into its proper context because Dan Bilzerian is making his ridiculous, illustrious comeback from being anti-Semitic, and I really hate using that word, but because most times it's disingenuous. But in his case, he literally is running for office now, and we know, Pasta. Dan Bilzerian is a scam artist.
Yeah, the Ignite company. He didn't make his money off poker. That's a lie. He got money from his fucking, his Wall Street daddy that robbed people, then had to hardly pay anything back. Oh, Instagram. He was an Instagram. Well, who started Instagram? To me, Dan Bilzerian, I think, is a Fed for sure, right? You don't get lifted and promoted within these platforms unless you know somebody, right? Unless you're doing a job.
I mean, he was posting a bunch of naked women and guns on his Instagram whenever Instagram first started allowing videos, so that probably has something to do with it. But you're right. He got the way I saw the kingdom. The way I saw him get promoted back in the day, because I hated looking at his posts. I'm like, why does this shit keep coming up on my timeline?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
then he disappears because he got caught.
He conflates the whole Jewish supremacist with Jewish supremacy. And that's really wrong. Because if you look at any of the Abrahamic religions, they all got shit that's full of shit in there, right? I tell my Christian friends all the time, I'm sorry, but snakes can't really talk. There was no global flood, and some guy named, Noah.
There technically was a global
lions
flood.
And tigers and bears. Oh my!
The flood was real.
What?
The flood was real. The flood actually was real.
The global flood, right?
Well, it wasn't really global. It was just the only part of the globe that they were aware of.
Okay.
But the flood of Mesopotamia was actually real.
Okay, but no global flood.
No.
And I'm sorry, but you can't live inside the stomach of a whale for about 2 or 3 days. It's allegories. Every single one of these religions should never, ever be used as far as making laws, right? If you want to use it for your own personal self, that's fine. But these are all allegories. And for Dan Bilzerian, who's, once again, all these people, and I'm going to put Candace to the side for a second. Nick Fuentes, Dan Bilzerian, Lucas Gage, Myron Gaines, Stu Peters, Leandra Johnny, all these people who are now conflating the anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. There's a conflation there, and that actually empowers the Zionists to say, look, anti-Semitism, look what they're doing by saying Jew this, Jew that. They're all of them, really quickly, they're all anti-collectivism, pro-capitalist. They're cool with the status quo. They're anti-immigrant, and they excuse empire by never calling out why we have so many immigration problems to begin with. All those people that are getting lifted up and highlighted are that. They are for the status quo of capitalist imperialists going on. Now, Candace Owens, you can say, all right, she might not conflate anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, that she's been consistent, but I don't know. There's a choice to believe the Bolshevik Revolution was all about Jews killing Christians when there's a lot of stuff out there that clearly states
that is the
revolution.
weirdest. Yeah, the Bolshevik Revolution was a very complicated, multifaceted revolution. Yeah. Jews killing Christians is like the most simplistic.
That's ridiculous.
One. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, okay, I'm sure that there was
that
some Jews
area
that killed Christians, but
was 3% Jewish. So if there was a civil war, the most percentage of Jewish people you can have was close to 7% Jewish in a movement. If there was a civil war going on, right?
War, yeah.
And that's if every single Jewish person joined the civil war. And by the way, Stalin's not Jewish. So I don't know how they come across and say this stuff. It's about a peasant revolution, and the globalist elites never want you to believe there can be some type of class revolution where workers of all religions, cultures, and creeds can rise up and fucking beat down the elites. That's why they are there pushing this bullshit.
Yeah, so I want people, the names that you listed, so Myron Gaines, for example, Dan Bilzerian, all these people have actually, especially Myron Gaines and the like, they have built their careers on telling immigrants and others, the white man isn't to blame for your problems. It's all your fault. If you can't get it out the mud and become successful, if you can't win in capitalism, if you can't win with the opportunities America gives you, it's your problem. See, but all of them hit this wall at some point where they realize, hold on, there is actually a level above Christian white male elite in the United States that I have to answer to. And I'm never, in the case of Myron Gaines, for example, he will never be admitted into that club. He knows it. Andrew Tate, another one. He will never be admitted into that club. Call yourself Jewish if you want to. You will never be admitted into that club. To some degree, Dan Bilzerian probably had the same, for whatever reason, he's hit the same wall. And they all, it's kind of like, I use, it's the Hitler narrative, right? The only thing we ever really hear about Hitler is, oh, he hated Jews. And no one ever says, well, why did he come to that conclusion? That's a really weird conclusion to come to. But his real issue was with the Rothschilds. His real issue was with the Zionist elites. And it got distilled all the way down to Hitler hates Jews. And maybe at some point, his hatred for Jews did grow out of control, but it was because he viewed the elitist Zionist Jews and Rothschild and the like as a barrier to Germany's success and the cause of Germany's problems. And so Dan and all of them, all of a sudden they're worried about what they consider to be an oppressive group, which they're calling Jewish supremacists. But they don't actually give a fuck about people being oppressed. They care because somebody messed with their money and they happen to be Jewish. And now because of this Palestine movement and Israel giving everybody excuse to pile on, now they can conflate anti-Zionism, pro-Palestinian, try this one more time, pro-Palestinian movement with Jewish supremacy and being anti-Jewish and anti-Semitism. Yeah, no, it's not.
That's by design. That's by design.
And that's by design. Yeah.
And these guys are part of it. That's why I say some of them are feds. When it comes to Dan Bilzerian, I mean, this guy, this guy, first of all, and Niko, you told me about this, and I was like, really? He did? I knew he had a company. I thought it went bankrupt. Was it called Ignite, I think?
Ignite, yeah.
It was a CBDC, THC company. And for what we understand is that he just pretty much got investors to invest, that he really didn't have products. He had branding.
Yeah.
And they used the branding to get people to invest. And they were like, oh, my God, it's Dan Bilzerian, the guy who was one of the first people on Instagram and made all this money. He's, insane. Look at the house he's living in and everything like that. And, the lie. First of all, he ain't that good at poker. I will play Dan Bilzerian one-on-one in poker, and I will beat his ass. We can play best out of 7 like basketball, head-to-head. I will beat his ass. I've watched that guy play for so long. I'm like, this guy can't play that. He's not a good poker player. And in the poker world's not like that. That guy was given some money.
Yeah, in the poker world, it's hard as shit to be a consistent winner and be rich off of it.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to make you believe that he won billions of dollars, millions of dollars from billionaires and took that, and that's how he won. Well, where'd you get that bankroll to start that? That didn't come out of nowhere. I think it's all a lie. I think his father, if you look into his father, was a Wall Street investing guy, stole a bunch of money, had to pay very little back. He's kind of like the Sackler family. You make all this money off death and destruction, and you got to just give a little chunk of it back. Good morning, the auspicious. I think his daddy, once again, I think these people are connected. I think he was lifted up and promoted on Instagram because they were playing the long game. They knew this was going on. I don't believe
they had to create their theme park attractions, right?
Yep.
The Dan Bilzerians of the world. At one point, Taz's Angels back in the day. I don't know if you remember them, but Taz's Angels was damn near like the black version, if you will. A lot of controversy from that. But yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, Ignite products you can't even sell them in the United States, or he can't. They're sold in Brazil though. But I don't know if I think that only happened after he got rid of the company.
Yeah,
I think he sold it. He was forced to sell it. Someone used the brand and then took off with it from there. But I remember Dan Bilzerian basically disappeared after that whole scandal went down, bro. I was still in Miami whenever it went down. I was like, this man's so full of shit. He offers nothing constructive. He just, let me take a bunch of girls to party and look at how cool I am. And when I saw the beard and the short shorts and how much he just stays in the gym and he's like, that's all he ever talks. I'm like, this, I have never heard him talk, but I know the first time I hear him speak, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Yeah. And lo and behold, that man opened his mouth. Hey guys, my name's Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah. First time I seen him was at the World Series.
I've never heard him.
Bro,
I'm going to have to.
Yeah,
dude, do it. The beard you'll have your explanation for the beard, bro. It's like his whole personality is overcompensation.
Why are they highlighting this guy? Why are they putting him on Piers Morgan? Why are they putting him over here? Why are they putting him over? It's like what this, and then this whole shit, right? Put that comment back up. I want to read that though. Because I thought about Applejack just yesterday, and then he comes in today. I was thinking about. I'm like, man, I hope Applejack's doing good. Congratulations to Apple. Congratulations to Niko on having children this year, babies and whatnot. More children. I think this is Apple's first. Niko, it's like what, your 8th or 9th now?
I'm on 3 now.
You're 3.
I got my stepson. Then I had 2 back to back. Knocked them out. Close up shop.
But if you talk about Niko, it was like funny for him. He had like 12 cats, 1 dog, 3 birds.
6 cats, 1 bro. Yeah, I miss my babies.
And we smoked.
No, I had no birds. Couldn't with the cats.
A bunch of roaches. The birds hang right out the thing. But Apple said, shout out to my brother Pasta. I will join any show to hear what Pasta is saying. Shout out to Niko. And again, my brother. Love you, Apple. Thank you. I was literally thinking about you yesterday, man. I was like, I hope Apple's doing good. I wanted Apple to do some reporting and bring them on the show. So when Apple, you do some reporting, you can always come on this show and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Apple been getting out there doing some stuff here and there, and he just had a baby. So congratulations to Apple.
Oh man, congratulations! Woo! RIP to your sleep, but congratulations for the baby.
561-221-2125 561-221-2125. Call on in. Niko House is here. We got another hour to go. We're gonna be rocking every morning from 8 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Every day of the week, we're gonna have a different co-host so we can talk about different things. Today, we're talking a little bit about Jewish supremacy. We're talking about white supremacy. We're talking about, I just got back from Egypt. He says, wow, Apple. Look at that.
Oh, man. Well, Egypt's lit. I love Egypt when I went.
I've never been. You went to Egypt, right?
I went to Egypt, to do some to deliver some aid to Palestine. Yep.
Fred Edward, finally getting up. You're late, Fred. Where you been? It's an hour of show. Say hi to Midler for me if you haven't met Midler. Midler was at the Third Eye Carnival last year, not this year, but last year out there in Tennessee. We were out in Tennessee in April for our birthdays in this event. There were literally tornado warnings going on. It's funny because somebody was mentioning a Dingo Ate Me Baby mentioned about Sam Tripoli buying into the whole Bolshevik bullshit thing too as well. You know, it's very easy to buy into that. And this is where me and Matt Weinglass, who I do a show once a week with, usually go on his Thursday show. Sometimes I'll go on his Tuesday show, The Homeless Left. We have this disagreement. James Lee has this kind of mentality where it's like the Zionists are pulling the strings. And I'm like, no.
I actually agree, though.
I don't. I do not agree. But Niko, I'm going to grab some coffee real quick. Why don't you give us your opinions on why you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the chats of Truthwire stated that Nazis in Germany were popped up by Wall Street. Yes, they were. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a fact. That's
what I'm talking about. It's not. It's the Nazis.
No. But hold on. Pause. You're see. That's conflation. You're assuming because they were propped up by Wall Street that they were only propped up by Wall Street.
No, I'm saying there's a cabal that it ain't just Jewish supremacists at the top.
But it's not. No, but there is definitely at the top pulling the strings is definitely Zionists. It's definitely Zionists. But I could give my rendition.
Ballist.
Do you, huh?
Ballist.
Zionist.
Zionist. They just Zionists. They don't believe in
maybe. There are levels of everything, but as far as for example, this whole World War III situation is not good for all elites. I know, like it seems like it would be, but no, it's like for the elite of the elites. Okay, but at the end of the day, for the United States, we all know that Trump is acting against his own self-interest, let alone the interests of the people of the United States. But he's acting against his own self-interest. He plunged himself into this fire of a war with Iran, knowing that you were going to leave looking weaker. You were going to cost the world billions, if not trillions of dollars for an L that you were guaranteed to take. And you did it because Israel told you to, and you could not rein your pit bull in. Even as we speak, some people were celebrating the peace talks over the last couple of days. I'm like, I don't know, y'all celebrating this shit because Netanyahu's going to do everything he can to sabotage it, and there will be zero consequences. So
let's get the phone call in there. We'll talk about who's at the top of the food chain. Is it Ballist, Zionist, Wall Streetist? Who? Or is it just one whole big cabal working together? It's the 1% bloodline elites, whatever it is. Give us your opinion. 221-2125. That's 561-221-2125. Caller, where you at? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Applejack. I'm calling right now from Ohio.
What's up, Apple?
What's good?
Hey, what's going on? I was seeing you were saying that you guys were talking a little bit about white supremacy. And I figured that would be a perfect little trail in for some of the reporting I did up in Jackson Heights, Ohio for Misty Winston.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we know Miss.
Yeah, there was I guess a big neo-Nazi group and a KKK group coming out to Jackson Heights, Ohio. That's greater Cincinnati area, about 4 hours away from where I am. Drove out there. They basically militarized the citizens, militarized the town against the KKK because the police won't come to help them. And now, like, you have regular, and this is Jackson Heights. This is something that you could, if you look up, it's historically Black safe haven during the Jim Crow era for Black. So it's literally a Black community that was designed just to try to protect people that were like, descendants from the abolitionists,
Mm-hmm.
and they're targeted by their nearby town, which is a known neo-Nazi racist town. They have regular meetings and groups with a whole bunch of, I guess you can say, white supremacists that literally they'll post out things saying self-deport, and just because you came as slaves doesn't mean you're American. and they'll post things like that and try to go at kids who are in Jackson Heights waiting at school, pick up bus routes. They'll just start harassing them. So now the Black community has militarized themselves. They suited up in like SWAT gear, walking around with AK-47s and basically rifles, big rifles, just trying to defend their own town. And so when they made the complaint to the Greater Cincinnati Police Department, the Police Department responded by building a gun range for the police to practice shooting right outside of a kid's playground, one of the Black kids' school, like the main school playground. So now the school's all they hear is gunfire constantly. It was covered by a bunch of people after I had covered it. JB Fauntleroy was nice enough to have me on RBN to talk about it. And I just thought that would be a perfect topic to bring up here.
Do you feel that they're having us fight a race war to cover up for the class war that we need to fight? Do you think that, I mean, do we walk and chew gum, or do we, because remember I would get a lot of criticism when I was in the Democratic Party for saying things like that. Like, it does feel like, that this is a controlled opposition going out there.
I feel like it's weird to get upset about it. Yeah, you can. So I'll give
but you know who I'm talking about, Niko. You met these people sleeping on my couch.
So first,
right back in the days,
up on your couch. But in all seriousness, Wall Street, for example, the Tulsa, Oklahoma situation, that the spark that led to that, whatever you want to call it, I won't even call it a race war. It was just, they wanted an excuse to burn down Black Wall Street. They didn't even go after the residential area. And it was, he touched a girl in the elevator, and it turned out that wasn't true. That was just an excuse to burn down the Black Wall Street businesses and to erase the income from because from all accounts, from everything we've read, Black Wall Street was almost just as wealthy as the United States of America, people. So this is right before the national budget was established. This is right before the Fed was established. Like, I think the national budget was established 6 months later, literally. Like, the Oklahoma City Fed was put in place within months. So both things can be true. We can walk and chew gum, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging, this is being used as a distraction for the elites to carry out their actual agenda. But also, racism is an issue, and they shouldn't even be able to use this shit as a distraction. And so it has to be addressed. So I think that it's possible to walk and chew gum, so we can acknowledge the racism and still acknowledge that it's being weaponized disingenuously.
100%. So this is my honest to God, like, diehard belief, and nobody's been able to move me from it. I do believe that the whole using ethnicity as a superior way of holding yourself and thinking that you're better than anybody else, that's just literally a distraction. Because if we look at it, like, let's say Blacks and whites. Now, I've been having this big argument with a lot of people between this, mainly with white people who want to deny whether there is a systematic racism still to this day, or Blacks who want to deny that that Black people can't be racist because they don't hold power, which to me is completely different. I'm from New York. I'm Black and Hispanic. I've dealt with Black and Hispanic racism between each other, and neither of them have power. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So, but the main thing is that we have a structure where there is such thing as Blacks who are treated as if they're not. I mean, whites who are treated as if they're not white. Like, they're treated poor. They're forgotten about. Same thing with we have what some people like to call Uncle Toms, Black people that will stand up and defend white people and say that there's no racism or anything like that. And to me, it's just a sidestep. Like, it is a problem. It's something that we do have to acknowledge because we have to be able to defend ourselves. But at the end of the day, this is all just to get us to not band together and focus that it's really those that have against the have-nots.
Yeah, I felt like the war with Iran was largely a response to the unity that was being seen because of the situation with Palestine, because we saw way more people speaking with each other that otherwise would have never even thought to converse with one another on a camera, via podcast or whatever. Maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would have never thought that. I was like, hey man, let me tune into Candace and I see what she's talking about. Like, would have never thought about it. And
Right.
the war with Palestine was creating a problem for the elites. So you see this war with Iran spark. You see the situation with Venezuela even spark up. And it became clear, it's like we have to do something to create the division necessary for us to continue carrying out our agenda, or we're screwed. Because our unity and seeing the genocide for what it was creating these off ramps, if you will, of we're also learning about all the other ways our society has been manipulated in the past and how we've been divided in the past. And that one issue was causing us as a group, as a people, to see the elites for what they were and how they were manipulating it. And then it was like somebody stepped in and said, no, we got to do something about this. Let's go kidnap Maduro. Let's just do something now. Kidnap Maduro. Let's start a war with Iran. Let's make it. Let's go back to our roots and and literally run back the same playbooks over. Let's start beef with Cuba. It's like they're going back from the 1970s and 1980s playbook of division, and unfortunately, to a large degree, it's worked. But I will say it hasn't worked to the degree that they want, which is why Trump is currently the most unpopular president in history. And nobody would blink an eye if Bibi Netanyahu disappeared off the face of the planet. Nobody, even his own damn party at this point. So it's not working as efficiently, but I do believe there's an effort to convince us that it is, and so we should be aware of that.
The Democrats are going to be coming back into play, meaning that we're still stuck in this two-party mentality, duopoly in the United States, where, my friend Miguel Santiago called in yesterday, and he was talking about like taking the lesser of two evils. And he talked about Bernie Sanders now in the Senate, talking about some stuff, and, once again, praising Bernie, and he saying that he'll deal with this form of incrementalism, because at the end of the day, what is the other choice, right? So we're going to see the Democrats come back. They're going to be pushing this stuff. As black men, how do you think, do you even think about this? Because I know it's so evident in the Democratic Party, because Niko was around when I was in LA, and how it is it was the white Karens and the white people saying, no, you need to listen to black voices, whatnot. And it was kind of,
didn't want to
if they felt like,
Pasta,
what? Go ahead.
Pasta, you remember. So this is a constant conversation I had with Pasta. Apple, you should hear this. Conversation I had with Pasta and Fee all the time. Like, hey man, don't trust them. And they'd be like, no, they're cool, man. They're all right. They're just, they mean well. They'll get right. I was like, no, you can't trust them.
Yeah.
And
it's tough to say don't trust them when you're in the streets marching with them with nurses and teachers.
I know,
and they're
but
working the food
I'm aware,
bank, right? It's hard.
I know.
Yeah.
But I was still, they say things, and it's why. But because you asked me as a black man, that is my experience as a black man. There is something innate and intrinsic that you can sense. I don't care all this superficial stuff that you're doing. It's easy for a white person to work at a food bank, and it's easy to trust them. But as a black person, if I'm working at a food bank, there is no trust that is automatically gained from me being black and working at a food bank. I'm digging myself out of a hole to gain the type of respect and loyalty that these white people get for doing the most basic acts of civil service.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's how I was able to be like, yeah, you can't trust them. And then eventually, we joke about it now. It's like, damn, all the motherfuckers were snakes. Yeah, they were. But there was no way really for Pasta or Fee to know that. And they couldn't just jump to the conclusion. But I was always a little bit more like, hey guys, what's up? You're cool. I'm just going to chill back here because I don't trust y'all. Because I know the moment that I have to tell y'all the truth about yourselves and your perception of what the lesser of two evils is, you're not going to like what I have to say. Because my experience is coming from a black man who has suffered from this lesser of two evil arguments. Those type of people who especially who had just come into the fold because of the Bernie movement, they had only begun to see the type of suffering that comes from lesser of two evils a little bit, because now we've seen the income inequality gap increase dramatically, the Trump situation, and they had just started seeing it. my family are generational victims of it. And so I don't have time to pretend like when I learned that AOC is who she is, I don't have time to pretend otherwise, right? My people don't have time to pretend otherwise. When she exposed herself as being a Zionist, I don't have time to be convinced. When she exposed herself, I got sisters, I have a daughter. When she threw Tara Reid to the bus, for example, and everybody likes to forget she didn't do that, but she did. She admitted Joe Biden sexually assaulted her and said we have to vote for him anyway because it's better than Trump. I don't have time for that. And so as a black man, when you see these type of things and you are actually committed to the type of change that we were talking about, there is no pretending. And it definitely becomes easier to see. You don't kind of like, you don't drape yourself in these delusions of grandeur. Well, let me just look the other way. Let me just look the other way. There's no amount of money that can make me pretend like these people are not problematic.
Yeah. I remember the whole thing was like, we got to listen to black voices. I'm like, well, Morgan Freeman said some stuff. Oh, I don't listen to his voice. It was like, so it's like an individual, somebody with a different.
It's a case by case. And guess who makes the decision on whose black voices are valid? Pasta?
The Democratic Party?
No, the white people.
The white people.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Is it not true? They decided that Candace's voice is valid for long enough that she was able to turn it into this platform, and they're screwed now on the right. But it's their fault. They chose her. That's not like a hyperbole. They literally chose her to be the black voice. They do the same thing they did it with Jasmine Crockett. They chose her. The reason that Hassan Piker is for some reason the voice of the communist left, even though he's definitely not a communist by any stretch of the imagination, is because white people have decided that.
I'm joking.
But when you think about the natural evolution of communism and its popularity in this country, you would assume, based on what we know about history, who should be the natural face of the communist or socialist movement in the U.S.? A black person or Latino. Or a black Latino, if you want to get like super specific. But somehow it's the rich white boy who wasn't even born in the U.S., who was birthed out of capitalism, benefited from capitalism, and pretended to be communist when it was good for his brand. And that's the face of the communist movement all of a sudden. The same one who told everybody to donate your money to DSA. Don't give it to organizations. Don't donate to these funds. What are they called? Whenever the mutual aid funds. Don't donate to mutual aid funds. Don't create your own organizations. Donate to DSA. Vote for AOC. That's a communist? No, he was selected, and he was selected by white people, not by us. By
white people in general, a certain amount of white people.
No, I'm saying like the white elites who ultimately make these decisions for who represents whatever movement and who has a say and who's allowed to go. Like Stephen A. Smith, I think that you watch enough sports to know Stephen A. He was selected to be the leader of the blacks.
Yeah,
like it's obvious.
Hashtag not all white people. If
he was here, she'd be cussing your ass out right now, boy.
She would be. You know what I'm saying? But they would say, Pasta, we're the oppressed, you're the oppressor. Like they would kind of generalize that. And I thought that was really bad. And I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because Fee would even say, most of your elites are white. I said, I get that, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's not.
Can I say, okay, Pasta, can I say this thing?
Go ahead.
We are the oppressed, but you are a beneficiary of the oppressor. You're not an oppressor yourself, but you are a beneficiary because I'm a man, right? And I know I'm a beneficiary.
Wait, what benefits do I get? I get a little bit more room to run on the plantation. I get a little bit more food at the dinner table. I get a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I get these privileges, which are given to me, and they're given to me because this is something that Reverend Annie Chambers said. They are given to me because they want to make sure that we stay divided. It's just like when.
But I'm not talking about the privileges that you receive.
Here's what I'm talking about: working with the KKK to get the black people and white people working with the KKK. I remember get their checks, right? Because the government said no more welfare checks. And then after they did what they did, they ran into casinos as a group together. You know what I'm saying? Because
I remember
she walked into the Klan's meeting, and the Klan dragon said, "What do you want, N-word?" And she goes, "I want a check. What do you want?" Join forces, go into the casinos, run wild, said, "Give the check, give the bill to the governor." And all of a sudden,
shout out to Reverend Annie, man. That was great.
Reverend Annie. And all of a sudden, checks are reinstated. But they reinstated the check. The white family got 400, the black family got 200. They did that so they can keep us divided, fighting with each other.
Of course.
And that's what they're doing now again today.
So what I'm saying is, what you're talking about.
But I have one last point because I have a question.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I do have a point.
No, you're good.
What I'm trying to say is, yes, that is true, and we're gonna talk about the privileges I have and stuff like that. But as a black man in a movement, isn't it better to recognize the things we share in common? That even though I do get privileges, even though I am given more stuff than you, right? Even though you are a black person is way more oppressed in the United States, in jail, the jail system occupying 45% of the jail, but yet 20% of the population. We understand this, but isn't it better to recognize the things we have in common, that I am still a victim and a slave to the elites? At the end of the day, they don't give a shit. And in fact, that's what COVID was about. Whitey got to go. They still think I'm a useless eater. Isn't it better to acknowledge that for unity, for us to come together, rather than acknowledge the differences and the privileges I have? Go ahead,
Well,
Niko.
it depends on. So I would say maybe that's it's better to focus on that, but to acknowledge it, like they're both important, because, like I said, as a man, for example, I have privileges that even though I'm not an oppressive male, I have privileges that my wife will never have. And it's not even necessarily what I gain. It's the benefit of the doubt. For example, it's my wife doesn't like going to deal with anything that has to do with like repairing the house, repairing hardware, something we got to take it to the store by herself. And I never really understood why until like I became fluent in Portuguese, because there's a certain level of respect that I command the moment I walk into this room versus the level of respect that she commands. Not because I'm purposely doing it, but that's because of how a lot of men actually are. They're going to give me a different price and assume that I'm going to negotiate down quicker than they would do that for her. My brother has to go to the mechanic with my mom whenever she has to go take her car in for the same reason. They'll give them two different prices and not even realize, no, okay, yeah, I'm here with the same car. I just came from my mom, but you told her this. And they have to now look with the, oh shit, I didn't know. Oh yeah, you didn't know, but it's because I'm a man. So I can acknowledge, like, I'm not getting anything extra for being a man necessarily, but I do know that I don't have to deal with the problems that women have to deal with every day. So the privilege that I'm referring to principally is the benefit of the doubt, basically. It's what you don't have to deal with for being a white man, not being a black person. Like you don't have to go into a room. Now I will admit that in Brazil it's pretty dope because I don't really have to deal with this that much. But like even in the States, as a black person, when you go into a room full of black people, you have to figure out what kind of black you are in their eyes to operate the room, because that is the world that we grew up in as black people in the United States. White people kind of do that, but it's more so like alpha male type of situation. But as far as men are concerned, or black people are concerned, being black, you're always having to navigate rooms based off of how everyone else perceives you. And you have very little, almost little to no control over it as far as the results are concerned. Like if I'm the most well-spoken, well-dressed, even if I have the most money in the room, I am a problem now. Like now I'm a problem. You would think, yeah, that means you're going to be great. No, that means I'm an issue. That means I'm the uppity black guy.
Can I
go ahead, Apple?
Yeah, jump in there, Apple.
Please.
So, I actually have an actual experience that can actually kind of reinforce a little bit of what Niko is saying. So, Pasta, you already know, me and my guys over at Savage Gang, we do as much mutual aid as we can. Well, I don't want to call it mutual aid because we don't try to get money from other people. We use our own money and we just try to help people out. But so there's basically a movement out in Northeast Ohio. I'm trying to create. It's a bunch of friends of mine. We're all doing pretty well with ourselves. So we throw into a big pot. We try to basically find an area in a different town in Northeast Ohio, and we'll just try to get perishables, food, shelter to everybody who's struggling. We started working with this group called Sunrise Ohio, and they're a group of activists. I don't want to talk down to them because they've done some pretty good stuff, They've protested outside of the Stark Sheriff's Department when they were trying to make deals with the Trump's Fed, trying to pick up, work with ICE. They were trying to make deals with ICE, and it's illegal. They're not allowed to do that. So they've done some good stuff, but it's like a group of older white people, and we came in there. Now this is our idea. We just brought it to them. We gave them a lot of the means of what we were doing. We ended up getting in contact with the general manager at the Walmart in the Tuscarawas Street in Canton. They let us borrow their parking lot. We brought some U-Haul trucks, and we had some food and some money to help pay rent for some of the people. And this is our stuff. We're bringing it. They're just helping us distribute. All of a sudden, there's this visual, this view, this like feeling that me and my friends are getting, and we're all Black, Hispanic, where none of us are white or considered that. And it's like all of a sudden some things are getting stolen or seems like they're missing, and they're looking at us like we're the ones doing it when we brought everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
it was
a
man. Little. It turned out there was some stealing, but it came from their group, and there was some
what a surprise!
But it was that whole it was a whole statistic, but they were trying to look at us like, oh, well, if there's things missing, look at the pigmented people. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, we're bringing this. This is our stuff. Like, we're not going to steal from ourselves. So, like, that doesn't make any sense. So, like, I get where you're coming from, but I feel like that story kind of reinforces a little bit of what you're talking about.
Even in my neighborhood, so I'm the only Black person that owns a house in my neighborhood. And I live in Brazil. And I'm definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the youngest. It's a nice neighborhood. Go ahead.
No, I was
jealous, by the way.
Oh. Yeah, even in the dreary weather, it's like 85 degrees out here. It's winter right now.
Do you think, Apple, that they felt that way? Because once again, a lot of this has to do with the programming, right? The program, and I know everyone's going to blame the Zionists for the program, that they own everything. But I just, once again, I think it's the ballist again.
Were you not programmed, Pasta?
I was programmed.
Okay, did you deprogram?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but I was
programmed.
I don't expect that from everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I do I look at everybody's situation as unique.
True.
I remember the way I used.
Hold on, but Pasta, hold on. Just as a double back, I want to double back. You could be correct, but what he was saying was to reiterate my point was that, like, the privilege or the lack thereof that Black people receive, the problems that we deal with and the oppression that we receive is there, and it's reinforced, and it doesn't matter if it's programmed or not. If you're admitting that it's programmed into people naturally or unnaturally, rather, since birth, at least if you live in the U.S., then it's there, and it has to be acknowledged and dealt with, like you just said.
Yeah, and I'm not denying that. I'm saying when you acknowledge it and you deal with it, and you said something very interesting. You acknowledge it, you don't concentrate on it, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's a great thing to say. When you do say we have to deal with it, we have to deal with who it's coming from.
Yeah, but that doesn't really that doesn't alleviate the immediate effects. Like, you can do both. You can walk in, like you said, you can walk and chew gum.
What I'm saying, Niko, is that there aren't people like yourself who acknowledge where it's coming from, right? They concentrate on the person itself and say that person is the problem. That's what the Democrats do, and that's what. That's their programming. That's their whole shtick.
That's programming. That would be programming. But I would say that now, probably more than before, there are more people who are like, we deal with the racism problem as it comes, and we still have to deal with the elites. Like, the problem in Brazil right now that they have is there is an obsession with racism because they're finally dealing with it the way it should be dealt with. However, they have completely turned their heads to, like, the problems being caused by the elites at the moment. Right. And it's becoming problematic because capitalism is rearing its ugly head and taking advantage of it. And I'm watching it happen in real time. Yeah. But But it's hard to argue, especially in Brazil. You know, it's a way different situation because almost everybody here is black. The majority of the population is black. And it's hard to tell people, don't look at the thing that's destroying your life. It's the elite that's more distant, more abstract, more opaque. I can't beat the shit out of this elite. I can't process this elite. You know what I'm saying? I can't take him to court necessarily, unless you're Elon Musk, apparently. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but this race is right in front of me, I can deal with. So it's a simpler problem to solve. And I think that's how a lot of people get caught up in it. And it's also a problem that's necessary to solve because you gotta, you know, at the end of the day, you want to set a precedent that racism won't be tolerated, or sexism won't be tolerated, or bigotry won't be tolerated. So yeah, we do have to walk in true gum. And I think it takes a lot of energy and a lot of patience and a lot of conversations and you know, and learning to person to that point.
Right? The first part is acknowledgement. And once again, and this is something that Fee would say, Pasta, who are you to tell this person how to feel, right? Like, how am I to tell a black person how to feel? It's like, you know, when I would say, well, don't get so mad at him, you know what I'm saying? He didn't set up this system, right? He's just part of this system. He's living in it. So he can acknowledge the privileges he has, but we have to remember that he didn't dole out these privileges. These privileges were doled out by a ruling class who is doing what they're doing, divide and conquer, to keep everything they got.
The question is, what do they do after they acknowledge they have the privilege, though? That's what I always go to.
Both sides how do both sides deal with it? That's why I brought you both on to ask these questions.
We deal with about, you know, former Black Panther movements. I know we pull our weight. I think we pulled our weight on that front. But the issue has been, like, once again, when it comes to white people, there are. Okay, this is the phenomena that I've seen develop, especially in independent media and this whole activist space, this leftist space. When they finally acknowledge the privilege that they have, and some of these leftists really didn't know how much privilege they had until they entered this space, this independent media space, and it blew up. You know what they did? They fucking doubled down and used their white privilege to their advantage while pontificating about how they care so much about the oppressed. That's why they have to take up all the airspace and all the media space and only bring on white people to talk about how oppressed Black people, Arabs, and Latinos are. And they have their one Black person that they bring on every 6 months that will usually look like, it's probably either Breonna Joy Gray, every now and then it's Garland Nixon. The only person I can say that, like, the big name that consistently brings on a bunch of different people is George Galloway. Like, he's the only one that I know that, like, will consistently bring on people from all over the world, all different backgrounds, bigger or smaller channels. But for the most part, when white people acknowledge their privilege, oftentimes they use it, they weaponize that, and they gain more from it. Everybody, I wish there were more Pastas in the world, bro. Like, I wish there were more Thomas Masses in the world. I wish that there were more, you know, Kyle, you know, my guy Kyle Matovich. Like, I wish there were more people like you guys, because this world would be so much more beautiful.
Let's just stay at that one. I wish there was more Pastas too. We're gonna mention those other people. Go ahead, Apple.
I'm so glad that you finished that last name when you said Kyle, because I got a little scared.
I hope you want to talk about Kyle Kalinske.
Niko
the
like
real Slim
Kyle.
Shady.
Niko like Kyle.
We were friends. No, we were friends. Yeah,
he liked Kyle.
Dude, I can't handle the frosted tips.
Don't get me started.
We were cool for a little bit, but I don't associate with Kyle anymore ever since.
That's a polite way to say it. After he was a side piece and then ran off like a bandit to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. Yeah,
that's what sucks about this whole thing, because
he died near to the sun and transformed, and that whole situation with Jimmy Dore, I just don't respect it. When he tried to back up Anna Kasparian, and that just pushes me away. And you know what? I'll even give out a shout out to Anna for apologizing to Aaron Mate, who's another friend of mine. But I'm sorry, I just can't after I seen.
Shoot, I wish that Aaron would apologize. Aaron got some apologies to dish out too. I'm not gonna lie, Aaron behind his privilege as well. Like, he's one of the people I'm talking about. I like the majority of his reporting, but also Aaron
You're not wrong. I've been hearing this. You're not wrong. I've been.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact he stole reporting from one of our good friends. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want any drama for him. But like, it was something that only this individual had been reporting on because there was anyone else could have known about it unless you lived in the area he lived in. Which was super specific, and it was about a pipeline. And all my friend did was reach out to him politely and ask for him to give him the proper credit. That was it. And Aaron treated him like he was a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I know what you're talking about.
You probably do, Sleepy. You probably do.
I bumped heads with Aaron and Jordan Sheridan and Michael Tracy all on election. Right?
Ooh, the trifecta.
COVID stuff too as well, but
yes.
yeah, COVID stuff too. That's crazy. But
I'm so glad Mike Tracy disappeared. Yeah, that was a weird little but that's what I'm talking about. Like, how many predators does Mike Tracy get to defend, Pasta, before everybody's like, okay, like we're done? Like he had to get to defending Epstein a few times before people were finally like,
that saying Epstein wasn't a pedophile. We're talking about
yeah,
that same Michael Tracy?
Yeah, that Michael Tracy. Yeah, like.
Well, let me tell you something, guys, and this is something. First of all, the thing that sucks about what's Kyle's last name?
Kalinsky.
The cool Kyle.
Oh, Matovich.
Oh.
It sucks that his name is Kyle because me and Fiorella told Niko a long time ago, be careful, because I noticed as I go to the white guys meetings, be careful of guy's named Kyle. Kyle's
Hey, Anzalone.
Kyle's, right?
Anzalone.
That's so funny, bro. Kyle's like a real girl. Kyle Matovich, if y'all haven't watched his show, Liberty and Health is a show on YouTube. Kyle Matovich, he is a real one. He's dope. True libertarian, man.
Libertarian Kyles are cool. But other Kyles.
That's true.
Wait, hold on.
Liberal
Niko,
Kyles?
what did you say the name is?
For Liberty and Health. His full name is, I'm gonna spell it for you because it's a little bit different. It's Kyle and Matovvik.
Yeah.
VCIK. All right, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
he's on vacation right now, but we do it.
I didn't agree with him not standing behind. What's that, buddy?
I subbed to his channel just to check him out.
Cool.
Yeah, he's good, cool, bro.
But the whole libertarian, I was really upset at those guys for not standing behind Chase Oliver. I was like, you guys are wrong on this one. You guys got to do this.
What, Chase Oliver? Wasn't it the guy who was like an imperialist?
No. What is Chase's last name? Was it Chase Oliver? The guy who
wasn't he the one like that? But was like a real, like, was actually a liberal? Or am I thinking about somebody else?
Chase Oliver ran. He won the nomination.
But wasn't he like shit?
They got on him because of his views on COVID, which I didn't agree with. They got on him because, and the thing is, he had a libertarian mindset, right? And my whole thing was like, you guys got to support Chase. I even have a campaign slogan for you. Chase Oliver, at least he's not a Zionist, right? Like, come on, guys. Like, and the whole thing is that the Mises Caucus, they voted against the Mises Caucus. That's why Chase won. The Mises Caucus should have built bridges and said, hey, man, you guys won this time. We're going to support you, and because he was a libertarian, Chase Oliver. He said that if a parent wanted to send their kid, he's a gay guy, he's a gay libertarian, but if a parent wanted to send his kid to, drag queen story hour, that was up to the parent. That's a libertarian point of view.
Technically, yeah. That's a libertarian
point of view. All the Dave Smiths, all the Clint Russells, all these big high-level freaking libertarians, except for Kyle Anzalone, who's going to be on the show Thursday, did not. They all supported Donald Trump. Kyle Anzalone did not. These guys went in Donald Trump because they didn't like Chase Oliver because of his stances on that.
So I would make an argument. I would make the argument that was just bullshit. That was an excuse to get into Donald Trump's camp and benefit from the Donald Trump economy. I want to be very clear about that. And I got love all the love in the world. I really like Clint too. I like Clint for the most part. He like 90%. He hits. Dave Smith, I gave him about 80% of the time. He hits. My problem with Dave is that he be winning a lot for somebody that is always playing from behind. No disrespect, but like, that Trump economy is real, or was not as much. Thank
God you said that. I felt like I was the only person saying that, and it's true.
I like Dave, but he's always somebody said the other day, man, like they felt like Candace should be replacing the top Republican. She should be at the forefront of the Republican discourse or conservative discourse, which is kind of like hard to disagree with that considering the field. And then somebody else suggested Bree, and I love Bree to death. Like Bree's the homie. I have all the respect in the world for Bree, but I put my hat in the ring for the quote unquote to be at the forefront of the discourse of the left easily. Maybe 5-6 years ago, I would have been like, oh, well, maybe. No, because I've watched everything I fucking predicted coming to fruition. Stuff that I was predicting since I was 25 years old. I have 3 goddamn kids now. Okay, I live in a different country. I'm fluent in another language. That's how long I've been accurately predicting things. And we need people who are actually willing to predict, say the truth, and not be afraid of the consequences and being willing to deal with that. Because that's the reason that people don't believe that being on the right side of history matters and that the majority of the country being on the right side of history matters. But what we're watching play out in Palestine proves that that's not the truth. If people can get on the same damn page, then politicians they make mistakes. Everybody becomes discombobulated, and that's how we make our move, and we organize within that chaos. We've seen that throughout history. And people love to uplift people who they play from behind. They say it when it's finally popular to say, like this, even with Israel, right? It's finally okay to say free Palestine. It's finally okay to acknowledge the genocide. It's finally okay to acknowledge the apartheid. But that apartheid been started. We've been getting banned off of YouTube for talking about Palestine. We've been getting demonetized or having our videos suspended for talking about Palestine, for talking about Lebanon. You get what I'm saying? Like, as much as I respect those people, and I'm glad that they're on the right side of history, it's almost always, and eventually with the people that end up at the front.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt the conversation. I know we're flowing on it, but we do have to get to one thing because I do want Niko's opinion. Apple, you could stay with us. Do we have any other calls coming through? Have we tested it yet, Josh? With the call coming through yet or no?
We don't have queuing set up yet. We got to do that after the show.
So we can't get another call through until we get rid of this call?
Yep.
Damn, we gotta say get rid of Apple like that?
Apple.
That's crazy.
That's crazy the way he did. Yeah,
if you want to call back, I want to make some people to call in. Let everybody know where they can follow you and find your stuff, your new reporting that's out there. Apple just had a kid, so we got to send some love his way.
For sure.
Definitely. I'm on Substack. You just look me up, Applejack without the C at the end of Jack, so it's APPLEJAK 59. Same thing on the Twitter. I don't call it X, so you just find us out there. I'm hopefully going to be restarting up my work with Human Rights Watch. They just finished sending me out to Egypt. Maybe next time I'm on, we can talk about some of my reporting that we did over there. We were watching.
That's dope, Applejack, man. We gotta get you on the show soon, bro.
And put your link in the chat.
Yeah, man. We were up in North Sinai. We were up at the North Sinai Peninsula watching what's happening to Israel.
Bro, that's crazy, bro. Shoot me you follow me on X, right? We follow each other.
Yeah. I'll
shoot me a DM on X, bro. We gotta get you on the show soon.
Yeah. Throw your link in the chat. Definitely. Throw your link in the chat, Apple. Thank you, Bubba. Love
I'll
you.
Do that 2 seconds. I'll throw it on once I get off. But thank you for having me on. Pasta, it's always been great. I always love talking to you, brother. And Niko, this is I think our first time actually talking. I got some good reporting. I think you'd like to probably look on to. But other than that, bro. Shout out Savage Gang out in Northeast Ohio. We have another mutual aid thing in the works. We don't have a date. We don't have the time, but we have some money that we've been throwing in the pot. So just pay attention for dates for that. And other than that, thank you guys for having me.
Pleasure, Apple.
Of course, bro.
Love you.
Thanks for calling.
Hit me up, man. All right. Niko, I know there were some people in the chat. One of the producers of the show, co-producers, Gabrielle Freedom, is there. She actually was asking about Tulsi and your opinions about Tulsi. I'm just going to let you go at it. What you think, what you thought. I mean, you were close with Tulsi. For those who don't know, the first interview I had with Tulsi Gabbard came to our house where we had our studio. Niko came on out basement. We were in California, and I was like, "You full of shit! Tulsi Gabbard ain't showing up in our house And here come two black Suburbans in the driveway. I was like, holy shit.
Bro, yeah, that shit was kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
but I have.
Like, shit, black Suburbans, like big, bro. That was wild. What a time, bro. That was so. One of the things about let me just say first and foremost, I want to wish a speedy recovery to Abe. Aside from anything, any issues with that I have with Tulsi or her politics, which is a lot. I don't want to get started on it at the moment, but Abe is an amazing guy. Like, the dude is a genuinely awesome human being. He's not really a political, but he supports his wife. He tries to be as supportive as he possibly can. And, I would make the argument that when she was on the right side of history, he was a lot more vocal about his support. But even still, he does what he can to support his wife, even in disagreements. And,
he does all the video stuff for her campaign and her stuff.
Yeah.
He's always out there with him as a friend with some cameras and doing all that stuff.
That's his that's his full-time job, doing the videography and things like that. So Bone, it sucks, bro, because I'm like a big believer in karma. And I always like, man, Tulsi doesn't realize like she's gonna end up having to pay for this in some way. The universe is gonna make her pay. And I always say in situations like these, and usually the person who is the culprit isn't the one who pays the price. It's usually the people that are close to you. And so this man, ends up with rare bone cancer.
All right, we got a caller.
And I'm like, this is insane. I couldn't believe it at first, but Tulsi stepping down, I feel like it was a perfect opportunity for her, unfortunately, because she didn't seem like she wanted to buck Donald Trump, because she seemed like she wants to try to keep relations open with that wing of the Republican Party for whatever reason. But I do believe that she was looking for her out the moment that Joe Kent looked for her out, because we know that they did bump heads on Venezuela, and we know they also bumped heads on Iran, and she probably wasn't consulted for that mission either. So,
dude, she in her confirmation hearing, she turned on Julian Assange. She turned on fucking leader of Syria. Oh my God, Bashar al-Assad. So
a lot of names.
Caller, where you calling from? Who are you? Where you calling from?
Morning, Pasta. Morning, Niko. Fred.
What's up?
I'm from Indiana.
What's up, Fred?
It's early out there.
I'm just getting up. Seriously, on my first real cup of coffee. I don't know what happened. I usually get up at 6 o'clock. Slept almost.
Me too, Fred.
I got my new show and you're sleeping in. What's wrong with you?
Hey, we had a soft opening yesterday. I wasn't prepared.
What you got to
Not
say?
wrong.
We got about 13 minutes left.
All right. Well, talking about Tulsi, it ripped my heart. It ripped my heart out when she turned on the jihadist thing. She knew about the U.S. in control of that garbage in Syria. And now all of the Islamic terrorists, they're the ones that we have to worry about. We have to worry about it in the United States. A woman. How did that
I agree, man.
So badly? Oh.
She's controlled opposition the whole time. She was playing the long game.
Nah, I think that's giving her too much credit. I don't believe that she was controlled opposition the whole time. That's as a person who's talked to her, like I think I've been one of the few that have had the privilege to talk to her to understand how she came to move on these issues. And the problem, in my opinion, was that she was so impacted emotionally by the people in the Bernie movement who had once supported her, right? The Democrats were already giving her shit. Okay, cool. But then the people in the Bernie movement who loved her for her stepping down and supporting Bernie and calling out the rigging in 2016, they treated her like fucking garbage.
Even Bernie treated her like garbage.
Even Bernie treated her like garbage.
Remember this debate? Oh my God.
Yeah, AOC treated her like garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, they went from supposed to be introducing legislation together to AOC when she realized how impactful Tulsi was becoming. She just ignored her and didn't give her a reason. The only one who actually treated her with any level of respect that was still working with Bernie was Nina Turner, right? And then the right comes in, or the MAGA conservatives rather, come in and embrace her with open arms, because at least at that point when they didn't agree with her, they respected her and they respected her honesty. And so I feel like it was an emotional overcorrection. It was like, I'm gonna go where I feel accepted after she was tore down for years by the people that she sacrificed her career at the beginning to fight for. Because we didn't know what was going to happen after she gave up that vice chair position with the Democratic Party, because she was on the fast track to be president, and then obviously that imploded the moment she decided to support Bernie. So I think that there was a lack of emotional self-awareness on her part, and it was an overcorrection, and it's disappointing because she's supposed to be, in my opinion, mentally tougher than what she's displayed. And you went from calling Trump Saudi Arabia's bitch to becoming Trump's bitch yourself, effectively, with a muzzle on to make it even worse.
Yeah. Fred?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. She's being surrounded by the war hawks and the neocons. That's all she's getting the information from. She's not, well, I mean, but I thought as DNI, she'd be at least have access to more information.
She does.
Moderate, that it's not, the Islamic extremism is only because of U.S. funding. I mean, you can look at it for decades.
Absolutely.
Financing it through Saudi Arabia and spreading it throughout the Middle East.
Saudi Arabia, Qatar.
Here's the thing.
Pakistan.
Here's the thing. There are people who say, this is why I think that, once again, I think she's too smart to be this dumb at times. People when people look at her, the majority of people look at this on a surface level, they'll go, oh, she's a Hindu. Hindus have their issues with Islam, right? They'll look at India, they'll look at Pakistan, and then they'll go, and she also fought in the Iraqi invasion or the Iraqi war, so she saw her brothers and sisters getting killed and blown up from IEDs from Sunni extremists. So that plays into the whole story. That's why I'm like, deep state. She played the long game.
Because of her opinions move.
She has the feeling she has. Go ahead, Niko.
No, but her opinions moved after that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like she became more open. She became more understanding. She became more empathetic because of her experiences while serving. That was from her mouth. So her switch after, the only thing you can really, really go back to is the moment that especially on stage, whenever they asked Bernie, remember, was it during the View interview where they said, Bernie, Tulsi literally dropped out. She gave up her vice chair position, gave up her fast track to becoming the presidency. All these powerful people were supporting her. All these powerful donors were even supporting her. Y'all remember CAA, right? And because of how they treated you and were trying to keep you off the debate stage. Like, don't you feel like it's fair for you to speak up for her? And he goes, well, I can't support everybody. Somebody has to win. I can't speak out for every candidate that gets cheated. That's how he treated it. And that moment of betrayal, I felt like just sitting her down a path of, and then let's be real, right? She was a victim of a lot of sexism from the Bernie Sanders movement. Like, oh, you can't, like, even the way people discuss my function in her, my role in her campaign, they're like, oh, he was a sycophant. No, motherfucker, I was a surrogate, dog. I was an opposition researcher. I was an advisor. Like, put some respect on my goddamn name, boy. I'm the reason y'all ain't got to deal with fucking Kamala Harris. Fiorella is the reason y'all ain't got to deal with Kamala Harris. Pasta is largely the reason y'all have to deal with Kamala Harris. But the way that people would phrase some of the, like, oh, our support for her, she had some of the most brilliant minds in the country working with her. And that's how her opinions were so evolved compared, and people hated it. Bernie people hated Tulsi for being better than him at that moment in time. Because why? Now, just the same way that, they were talking about Oliver messing with the Trump economy. Now Tulsi is messing with the Bernie economy. And we know the Bernie economy was booming. When I went to that goddamn show in LA, Pasta, you remember when we went? I said, bitch, is this a fucking political campaign rally or a rock show?
Yeah.
Like, and it was all the people that I had just remembered into, because 2016 hits close to home for you, boy. Because I wish the DNC fraud lawsuit, I witnessed the cheating firsthand. My son is running into the room. Babe, por que ele está entrando no cuarto? Pode tirar ele, por favor? Obrigado. Hello, y'all want to see my boy? Here's my boy, y'all. Because you want to say hi. That boy just loves
hey!
No.
What's his name?
His name is Lachesis. But his nickname is Des. Well, his nickname is Deshaun. Yeah, it's his middle name. But yeah, say hi, Bubba. Yeah, Deshaun. He has my middle name. There you go. Go to mama. Voila.
Very cute.
I will now.
Congratulations on all the kids, man.
Appreciate you. It don't feel like congratulations sometimes, but nah, I love my man.
Niko went out there for a wedding. And we were there at the same time because there was an election, and Niko never left. He's like, I'm staying.
Basically.
He's like, we saw the transformation. I was like, Mukan, I think Niko's gonna stay. He goes, of course he's gonna stay. It's Brazil.
Yep.
Man.
3 weeks later, I went back, packed up my apartment.
He's still there. He did. That's what happened. He went back. He had the apartment in Miami. He had to go back, pack everything up, and say, peace. Avoid the chicken.
Best decision I ever made in my life, Pasta. The best decision. But yeah, man. So that Bernie economy was real, and so the sexism was a factor. The hate that she received for being better than Bernie on those issues, because she was like, I don't care what my beef is with her right now.
By far,
but domestic policy as well.
Candidate. I mean, I don't know what happened to her, but he was a compromise candidate. We all know what happened with Kosovo, and where Bernie stood on that shit. Yeah, ridiculous. We were talking about that.
Attacking Maduro.
Tulsi Gabbard, even when Bolivia, right? When we were on stage, you know, she even put it in her thing, you know, the America should not be involved was the last thing she stamped her comment about when we were talking about it was a coup, right? It was a coup, and America doesn't need to be involved. Marco Rubio was working the phones, you know, against Morales back then, and nobody was talking about that. But Tulsi kind of mentioned that.
We talked about it, and Tulsi paid attention to our shows, and so Tulsi talked about it. Like, she was plugged in, and like the whole reaction, in my opinion, was, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm being stereotypical, but it was an emotional reaction. And I don't even know if it can be called sexist, because I think a lot of people might have reacted that way, because how do you explain such a phenomenon? We're like, hold on, you like him supposedly because of these issues that he supports, but I'm better than him on all these issues. And yeah, I've made mistakes in the past, but not more mistakes than he has made. But y'all don't even want to acknowledge the mistakes that Bernie has made. But I'm problematic. Okay, fuck it. Then I'm just gonna switch sides completely. I'm gonna go to the side that likes me. Because at least there I can have opportunity without being sabotaged merely because I'm stepping on the toes of your favorite politician. And he's not your favorite politician because of policy. He's your favorite politician because of what you can gain from supporting him. And I'm just saying that and I'm a person, by the way, y'all, whenever this whole movement was started to create the Bernie Sanders that y'all know him, well, maybe not know enough today, but knew love in 2016 and 2020, I was one of the one of the pioneers. Literally, I was called to form the student movement that made him the success that he was. When nobody cared and all you could do, your career was under threat. If you wanted to get into politics, there's a good chance that you were going to lose your career for supporting Bernie at that time.
And you did that in the great state of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Niko House, thank you. And I want to thank Fred Edwards for calling in and Niko House for being a co-host today. But unfortunately, Donald Trump is the most racist. No, wait. Unfortunately, we are running towards the end of the show, and we must do the closing monologue. Fred Edward, thank you for calling in.
Thank you, guys.
Now, I need a little music. And Niko, I want to thank you for so much. Guys, you're going to be able to see Niko House here every single Tuesday. This show is going to grow the way it's been growing, the way it is every single day of this soft opening. We're going to have our Patreon up. You can always watch on YouTube. You can leave a super chat. You can find ways to help us out. We'll have everything listed down in the descriptions of the show as far as that's concerned. I want to thank Gabriel Freedom as well for being a great producer. Fred Edward, who called in, another wrench, and I consider him a producer and a friend as well. All my producers are my friends. That's what I got to say. But let me just say this much. And Niko, thank you so much. Let everybody know where they can find you, and I'm going to do the closing monologue. Please.
You already know, man. Y'all can find me on YouTube at just look up my name, Niko House, For the People Podcast. Find me on Hotspot on Twitter at Hotspot, and on X at Real Niko House, and on Instagram at Real Niko House.
Next Tuesday, he'll be back. Listen, as we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of diversity of thought and the peace we can cultivate with our neighbors. In a world that often feels divided, it's our differences that can actually bring us together. Every unique perspective, every story shared enriches our collective experience and fosters understanding. Remember, it's okay to disagree. It's how we handle those disagreements that truly matters. Let's embrace dialogue over debate, compassion over conflict. When we listen to one another, we open the door to meaningful relationships. By engaging in our diverse communities, we can find common ground and build bridges that promote peace. So I encourage you, Reach out to someone with a different viewpoint. Share a meal, have a conversation, a cup of coffee, or just simply listen. Let's create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding in our neighborhoods and beyond. Because sometimes conflict can often bring resolution. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Remember, together, we can celebrate our diversity and pave the way for a brighter, more peaceful future. So until next time, keep the dialogue flowing and the peace growing. For Craig Pasta Jardula, my man, Sleepy J, Niko House, this has been Drive Time in the Morning. We'll see you tomorrow. We love you. Peace.